At the start of the film, we see Francesca, the protagonist, in a state of shock as she receives devastating news about her husband's death in a car crash. She is accompanied by her friend Caesar as she travels to the morgue house to identify her husband's body. On the way, they pass by the scene of the accident, where her husband's car has crashed on the side of the highway. Francesca, who is dressed in a luxurious fur coat, is deeply affected by the loss of her husband and realizes that her life will never be the same again. She worries about the future of her baby daughter, Giulia, and how they will survive without her husband's financial support. Furthermore, Francesca senses the ill intentions of her late husband's friends, who had always been attracted to her beauty and wealth. The funeral day was particularly uncomfortable for Francesca, as she felt threatened by the evil eyes of her husband's elite friends. They all saw her as a symbol of beauty and were envious of her luxurious lifestyle. The following day, Francesca is dressed in her typical office attire and is smoking a cigarette when her friend Caesar, who also served as her late husband's legal advisor, pays her a visit. Unfortunately, Caesar has more bad news for her. He informs her that her late husband had left the company and a significant amount of debt in his name. Additionally, he had not paid insurance installments for the last few months, so Francesca will not be receiving any insurance money either. Francesca has no other option but to face the situation head-on, as even going back to her lower-middle-class father is not an option, since he cannot afford to help her or her granddaughter Giulia. In contrast, Francesca's mother-in-law cut ties with her after her husband died, refused to provide financial assistance, and showed no pity towards her granddaughter Giulia. Rosaria, the faithful housekeeper who had been running Francesca's home for decades, offered to work for free. Francesca decided to visit her wealthy friend, Christina, and asked to be employed in her clothing brand. Christina was shocked, but agreed to employ her. Francesca had to sell her luxurious possessions and liquidate her husband's assets to pay off his debts. Her maid, Rosaria, comforted her, saying that a beautiful woman like her would not take long to get remarried. Later, Francesca met Enrico, who offered to pay all her expenses in return for a sexual relationship. She agreed to survive in the world. Caesar, who had bought her yacht for a low cost, hooked her up with a penny-pinching businessman. Francesca threw away the fake necklace he gave her and left in the middle of the date. Francesca's friend Carla revealed that she had bought her fur coat at auction and had it modified, making Francesca realize that even her friends were not trustworthy. Francesca lost faith in everyone around her. One day, Carla's husband, Sandro, visited Francesca in her luxury silk robe, causing him to fall for her. Carla shuts down Francesca's attitude with some news and leaves. Francesca decides to meet the other woman Maurizio was dating to find out what she had that Francesca didn't. Francesca learns that the woman, Camilla, was a lady with a good heart who wanted Maurizio to marry her instead of Francesca. However, Maurizio chose Francesca and his daughter over Camilla. Francesca leaves Camilla's place with a new outlook on life, knowing that men of her society desire her, and she doesn't want to limit herself to one man. She comes up with a master plan to snatch maximum money from rich snobs by setting up a lottery with 100 million lira entry fee, with the winner getting Francesca as their prize for years. Francesca seeks Caesar's help for legal documentation and to approach eligible men from the elite society who are desperate to sleep with her. The lottery news circulates all over the city, and Francesca's mother-in-law gets into an argument with her about disrespecting the family. Francesca shuts down her mother-in-law and keeps going with her plan. Francesca realizes she doesn't want most of the men who bought the tickets to take part in the lottery, including her best friend Serena's husband. However, Maurizio's mistress Camilla is one of the 20 people who bought the tickets and reveals to Francesca that she admires her beauty. Caesar takes advantage of the moment and offers to support Francesca and Giulia for life in return for marrying him. Francesca pretends she doesn't know his intentions, but deep down, she knows exactly what Caesar is looking for. Francesca accidentally hits a man named Antonio with her car and falls in love with him. Despite his being an ordinary man, Francesca finds him different from other men of society and finds a spark in him. Her child Giulia bonds with Antonio as well. Francesca stresses about bad scenarios if Antonio finds out about the lottery, but she finds out that Antonio was a fraud who had purposely gotten hit by her car so he could make her fall in love with him. Francesca plays the man card and disguises herself to inform the state police about an illegal lottery conducted promoting prostitution. She sends them to Caesar's office location, and the police raid the area and find heavy checks with participants' names. The police announce that they will publish the names in the news, and all participants are either politicians or rich businessmen whose reputation will be washed away. Francesca confesses to the police officer about the $20 million in checks, telling him that the participants are her late husband's business associates and friends who filled the checks to help her financially. Francesca saves their reputation and gets all the checks in her account without becoming any of the participants' property. She lives happily with Julia and her maid Rosaria, and the film ends. Thanks for watching till the end. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this.